Hello, viewers. This is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I wanted to look at earth energies today, just move away a little bit from politics, because I think that the climate emergency, the climate crisis, the climate chaos, it's no longer just climate change. I feel that this is actually coinciding with troubled world events, and I do feel that these climate events such as hailstorms in Mexico, leaving hail 3 feet deep in streets, flooding, ongoing flooding in Spain. We had the manure igniting and starting wildfires. These are things that have never been seen before certainly in our lifetime, and in the lifetimes of those that can remember. Now, this is all coinciding with right-wing governments, including in Australia, who are in denial about climate change. Why are they in denial? Because they are, protecting the lobbyists, the industries that fund their campaign. There is an imbalance in our governments at this point in time, and so you've got a lot of climate change denial going on at the same time that these events are escalating. Now, earth energies, very powerful things, a lot more than what we actually do realise. I have to say that I have been close to nature all my life. I grew up on a farm. And I don't think I even wore shoes till when I went to school. I would just run around, probably a little bit wild, in nature and with my animals. I had lots and lots of menagerie, almost a zoo in some ways. I've been close to nature all my life, and so it's not unusual for me to receive signs when I'm out in nature. I can have a profound insight, and that will a white feather will fly out of the air, which did today, around the Buddhist doctrine of equanimity. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about insecurity and how we can actually stand strong and not be buffeted by insecurity and attachment. And so at the same time, as I said, that white feather came flying out of the sky. Often I will have bird calls and bird song turning up at very special moments. As you know, nature does communicate with me. I had that insight around roses, which led to the channeling of Nostradamus. So I'm aware that the earth is form, and that our ability to manifest can connect with that form. The earth is a living being. It is a living entity. It is a system, a system that's alive. And so what is it thinking now? They're energetically in a troubled world. I want to have a look at these events, these climate change, climate crisis, climate emergency events. In Australia, I have to say, our energy minister is actually trying to hide data which is showing we may not meet our targets in the Paris Accord. So again, you mentioned climate emergency, and far right conservatives will say there's no such thing. So you're not the only ones in America to be your government denying that climate change is actually happening. Very worrying what's happening to your scientists. So on that note, let's have a look. These events seem to be escalating at the time when the denial is escalating, which is forcing us to focus on a climate emergency. Is this intentional? So is the earth speaking to us through these events, these unprecedented events? Is our earth energies, is the earth speaking to us through these events, these climate crisis events, hail, soaring temperatures? What's going on here? What do we need to know, Spirit? What's happening here? I'm getting that it's all a part of the conditions that we see at the same time. This unrest, this unsettled behaviour, this focus on greed, this willful ignoring of the damage that's being done to the earth. We've got the victory card as the signifier card, and I would assume that the earth is going to have a victory. I've read on this before. Who is more powerful? The earth will be every time. There is no weapon that man has that can match the power of nature. Challenged by the Nine of Wands, the energy behind this card is a weariness. So this victory that I'm seeing, the way that the earth sustains us, is being put in jeopardy because of a weariness, a fatigue. Why? Why would the earth be weary, would grow weary? This is the money here and the greed. Okay, so the Nine of Pentacles. This woman has all she wants in a material world. It's quite interesting that a butterfly is also seen there. Butterflies can often come forward from nature after a loved one passes over. So, this is almost saying that there could be a divine plan in all of this. I have read on aliens visiting Earth before in a reading. I don't think it's any coincidence that there have been an increased sighting of UFOs at this time. I feel it's part of a building to a climax where we will have to face real choices and complacency won't be possible anymore. With the Six of Cups in the past, the more that the climate emergency presents itself, the more that these conservative governments have to acknowledge that we do have a problem and we need to find solutions to that. Unfortunately, leadership is wanting because what's in the sky is the emperor. Now, what you've got Putin. You've got MBS, you've got the dictators, you've got Donald Trump, and this is the Trump card for me. This is what's in the sky here. This is what's really stopping us from protecting our work, our earth, and also doing anything about the climate crisis. In the near future, it's suggesting the significance of the world. I mean, this is Earth itself. It could be the world will start to move, but we've got a disunified world at present, so we can't have collective action. So what sort of action are we going to have? Okay, we're facing judgment. Unfortunately, this is something coming to an end. Now, when I say something coming to an end, it could be that we're talking about these dictatorships, this greed coming to an end. But before we get there, I feel that, we've got the sword of truth coming forward. This is new starts here. Something is ending and we are able to start again. I feel that these unnatural, or what we would call unnatural climate crisis events are putting a focus on what is out of whack here. And what is out of whack is this win at all costs. Dictators, Putins, the Trumps, the MBSs. In the hopes and fears position, we've got the Three of Pentacles. This is working together for what? For money. And I feel that again is what's challenging the earth. We are at a crossroads with this Two of Wands. We do need to plan for the future. And what's clarifying that? Relocation, moving on. We do need to move away from these type of dictatorships, governments, authoritarian regimes that are focused wholly and solely on their own independence. And how do they get that? How do they wield that? They do that through accumulating wealth. How do they accumulate wealth? Through natural resources, or the pillaging of natural resources, with little regard for what's happening to the earth. So really, sorry, I've just got a cough there and clear my throat. Really what we're seeing here is a relocation and a moving on. We're at a crossroads here. I do feel that there will be decisions made in the future about where human beings can live. Interesting with the moon card coming forward. This, the moon is the tides, the earth, the oceans, the pull of gravity. We know that our poles are moving, and they're moving quite rapidly. So let's see what's hidden from view. The Queen of Pentacles. I do feel that women coming forward and understanding the need to nurture Mother Earth will be instrumental in trying to manage this type of leadership. But I feel that what the Earth is doing is really a wake-up call for us with these climate change events that really can't be explained. Certainly haven't been witnessed in our lifetime. So let's have a look at whether there will be an escalation in these type of events. I feel that there is something going on here with our poles. As I said, we know they're moving quite rapidly. Is this? Are we looking at a wholesale, really change of the Earth's? I guess, of the Earth as we know it, in response to the Earth trying to protect herself, because that's what it's seeming to suggest. Will we see an escalation in these type of natural disasters, climate change disasters, as we fail to heed the message? Will we see an escalation of the Earth really fighting back, of these climate change disasters, trying to bring us back into balance? Because that appears to be what this reading is suggesting. We'll see an escalation of these natural disasters. Okay, so we've got the Three of Wands, suggesting that this has an overseas commerce, trade kind of aspect to it. An expansion element to this card. I asked, will we see an increase? There's an expansion element to that card. And again, we're challenged by being at that crossroads. The Emperor, again, is also suggesting that the Earth is the ultimate authority, with the Moon in the past position here. Okay, let's have a look at what's in the sky. The Queen of Pentacles coming forward again as being, I feel, an answer to the feminine, an answer to what ails us. I don't want to be sexist, but I have to say the current leadership at this point in time, other than Theresa May, who's been deposed, let's face it, her own party deposed her, Angela Merkel, who is very unwell. Apart from that, I don't see women on the world stage. It appears to say that the issue is the lack of feminine intuition, the lack of a female perspective. And the current situation, of course, is this wealth here. There is hope. There is hope for the future in the environment around, and this hope is connecting to the feminine energy. Okay, the fear though is this linking with the Trumps of the world. It's money first, money first. This is the outcome card. The Eight of Wands. Things are going to increase. Expect more climate emergency change events. This is because the Earth is wanting a new relationship, a new partnership, a new compact that moves away from how we've done things in the past. Can't be more clear. You can expect with the Chariot coming forward, these natural disasters to be on the increase. What is hidden from our view is the Eight of Swords here. This is really restriction. So these natural disasters are actually going to restrict commerce and trade and expansion. They're actually going to have an impact on that. All of this is coming at a time, as I said, where we have what I would consider an unbalanced leadership across the world, one that is ignoring the perils of climate change. We have dictatorships. We have build-up of nuclear arsenals again, and we have Donald Trump in America. We have Brexiters threatening to, really disband the European Union. We are at a very precarious tipping point. Okay, so is there hope with these earth energies, nurturing us in the way that the earth and nature does? Is there hope? Is there hope here? What are the messages from Spirit? We had that star of hope coming up there, and I'm feeling, going back to my reading on hope, it is around when we take self-responsibility. We are running out of time to do that. Self-responsibility, are we going to be helped? I'm feeling we are going to be helped by destiny, karma, Spirit. What can you tell us, Spirit, about how are we going to be able to learn and move on from this after the peril, after the disasters, after the acknowledgement that we need to do something? I just saw a black crow there fly past. Crows come around in times of great change and transition. They've always been there for me when my spiritual evolution has accelerated. So, are we able to ascend beyond this current mess that we've got ourselves in? What are the messages from Spirit? What are the messages from Spirit? Are we protected? Will we come through this? Got the King of Swords. The King of Swords is always on our side. This has always been my card of the hero, always been for people like Robert Mueller, always been for those brave people that come forward at the right time. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Again, we are needing to balance the male with the male energies with the feminine energies. This is really what's happening at this point in time. In America, I'm wondering if we're going to see the first female president. Interesting. Okay, the foundation of the reading is something's going to come forward quite strongly for us with that Knight of Pentacles. Courage is going to come forward. Bravery is going to come forward. Strength is going to come forward. I'm liking these cards after the previous deals. What's in the sky, though, is the Emperor card, and that is the lesson. That is the learning here. Not only about authoritarianism and dictatorships and this male, really energy that seeks to dominate and regress. This is also about the earth having the last say. With the Moon card here, this is around things ultimately coming to the surface. So it's almost like, if we think about our psyches, why we created what we created. I feel there is an element here of looking at our shadow side, of needing to bring that negativity to the surface. All right, currently we have our star of hope. So I feel that Spirit is letting us know that right now, because of the strength that we are currently displaying, we have hope. We have hope right now, hope in the future. But the environment around is that we are at a crossroads. This is destiny. However, our hope is that things will start to change for the better. Are we going through the worst of it? The Five of Cups is suggesting loss. Okay, so let's have a look at why that card's come forward. Because of the greed and the way that we treat people is highlighting what is wrong. And so there will be some loss as a result of all this. With the Eight of Cups, I feel I'm going to Trump in this reading because he's come through quite strongly. I feel that once he exits, then we have a chance of turning things around. Once he walks away, and why did he come through in this particular reading when we weren't doing a political reading? He's come through because of the damage that he is doing, because the axis of influence is tilted off. It's unbalanced, and as a result, where this is actually allowing things like the Paris Accord, etc., US pulling out of the Paris Accord, climate research stopping or being hampered, climate change denial, all of these things. And there are two things, I guess, with these far-right governments. There's the stupidity of them, but there's also the complacency of human beings who deny such things when, like climate emergency, when it's right in our face. So we are going to have some loss. We are already having some loss. Speak to the farmers who are in drought. Speak to the farmers who are in flood. Speak to the farmers in Spain post wildfires. We are having loss. But until we learn that, not to be complacent, that we've actually got to sit up and learn and take notice and not repeat old mistakes, then we're going to continue to find, that the earth will demonstrate her power. So I feel that there is going to be a changing landscape. I don't feel that we're in more, critical. We're not at that critical stage yet, because that reading seemed to suggest that the strength that we're currently showing, the hope that we're currently experiencing, that things will change, will be enough to I guess, save us. However, in doing that, there is loss there for some. It's already being experienced, and it will continue to be experienced. I feel there's also going to be some relocation, but we're not talking right now. There is some time, so I feel that there's some time for us to set things to right, and there is hope that we can actually do that. So final messages from Spirit. This card came out when I was shuffling to begin with. Standing one's ground, defending the earth. I have joined a number of climate emergency forums, and I intend to contribute to those, just to spread a general awareness about where we are at. Anything that you can do to defend and raise awareness, I feel is important. Messages from Spirit on what we can do to help change what is currently going on with the damage to the earth that sustains us. What can we do? What are the messages from Spirit? Okay, so again, this dynastic wealth. I feel that the battle for America's democracy is of extreme importance. This is rallying against or railing against that kind of focus on greed, wealth, money at the expense of, so much else. We need to be strong. We need to stand strong against that. And that is what we can do. And only then might we have some sort of victory here. We ask for 3 messages from Spirit. Your political fight in America is of extreme importance. You need to stand and defend against an erosion of values. This continual focus on greed and avarice. We will do that in Australia, and that will, I feel, be what will bring us through this. I would call it a crisis on every level, a natural crisis, a political crisis, a crisis for democracies. This is where we're at this time. So, do what you can, I feel, is what Spirit is saying, and I feel a lot of good people are already doing that, and that is giving us hope for the future. Thank you.